What is up, guys? This is Platinum Point, and I'm here to bring you guys another Weiss Schwarz deck profile. By the time you guys are seeing this, Bunny Girl Senpai has come out in English. But before I can even showcase my Bunny Girl Senpai English build, I decided, you know what? I gotta give my other English decks a chance to shine. And one of those is ReZero, which is a meta deck right now. And this build surrounds the sister 3-step, Rem and Ram. So, while also playing the Amelia level 1 climax combo, which combos with the book. This deck, the goal of this deck is basically to thin the deck out to get the resources that you need while maintaining a steady compression rate and setting up for your killer 3-step, which usually involves 2 copies of the 3-2 Ram from set 1 and the 3-2 Ram and Rem Bath Time level 3 from set 1 as well. So you basically use majority of the set 1 to close out the game. The set 2 stuff that's in this deck is mainly just for the utility and to facilitate that compression. So this build is a book gate version. So without further ado, let's get on to the deck profile. I play 4 copies of the seemingly happy behavior Rem, which is the clean cut of the set. Sorry, I had to just double check. This card is one of the main utility cards at the 0 step. It's your clean cut. So what it does is when it comes into play, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a magic or weapon, weapon or magic character, this card gains plus 1500 and a level, so this becomes a level 1 3/5 with clean cut. So the reason why the level is important is if your opponent runs stock reversers, clock reversers, or any kind of reversers that is really small, this bypasses their on reverse effect while allowing you to get the clean cut effect off. So I play 4 copies of this Rem because I want to see this in my hand as early as I can. I also play 3 copies of the Felt Runner, the Felt Mill Runner. I know we have the Amelia free runner that runs to center slot, and it's a 3/5 beat stick, which is really nice. But I'm playing the Felt Runner because it is really good crisis control, crisis management, because being able just to mill 1 card from the top of your deck and increase your canceling rate is key with this deck, because this deck doesn't have like I wouldn't say steady form, but an easy way of compressing the deck. Like some decks have gimmicks where they just build a ton of stock quickly. Others compress by sending cards into the memory. Since this deck doesn't have that explosive stock building and has no like inherent memory building, you have to find other ways to maintain compression, which is through constant deck milling, through the Emilia Maguro, your Brainstorms, the Rem Riki, and the Felt Mill Runner. You're basically making sure that you get rid of all your blanks and making sure that your opponent swings big and hits the cancel ratios that you need. Speaking of the Rikis, I play 3 copies of the Rem Riki. I know some builds in English are running 4, but I'm defaulting to the Japanese mindset because this card is only good in the early game, and it's only good early game utility, and after that it kind of falls off. So I decided to play it at 3 because I still want to see it, but after a while I just want to get rid of it because it's not that good when we progress to the later levels. You mainly use this just to fetch out either the level 1 Rem or the Amelia from your deck, or any missing zeros that you need. I also play 3 copies of the Canopy Piercing, I think. Yep, Canopy Piercing Sunlight Rem and Ram. This is your level 0 reverser, but you don't use it for the reverse effect. You use this Ram for the second effect, which is you can send this card to the waiting room and discard 1 card from your hand to salvage a weapon or magic character. So this is good overall utility and hand fixing, because sometimes you're going to have climaxes in your hand, and this is your main form of discard outlet to get them out of your hand and fetch any missing pieces that you need. So this is our main form of salvaging, with the exception of the Brainstormer. Speaking of the Brainstormer, I play 3 copies of the Beatrice Tap Self Salvage Brainstormer from the second set. I know we have the Tap Self Rem Salvage Brainstormer, but I like the Beatrice one because of its first effect. When another of your other characters gets reversed, you can give a character plus 500. So this allows you to play really nasty boards where you can, especially with the clean cuts, where you can buff the clean cut to 4/5 after suiciding the lanes, and then just dragging, ensuring the clean cut ability and dragging back one of your reverse characters into the backfield. Mainly, I sometimes put the Beatrice in the front row if I'm going to do that clean cut combo, because it just builds up free stock and allows Beatrice to pump the Rem, which is really nice. And then lastly, for the zeros, I play 2 copies of the Clairvoyance Ram. So basically, this is my my top check scry of the deck. Although the problem is that you have to play a Rem or a Ram card, so the Amelia doesn't proc it. But since we play mostly maids, this allows us to sculpt the top card of our deck and see what our attack order is. You mainly use this to help with the 3/2 this 3/2 Ram, to ensure whether or not you get the burn off from its effect. But mainly I just use this for the top check knowledge and being able to hand fix when I need to, because the second effect allows me to, no, the third effect actually, which is to pay 1, discard a climax, salvage a Ram or Roswell character. So this basically allows you to hand fix and get one of your sisters that you need for that turn. And then now to the 1-step, we play 4 copies of the Emilia Maguro from set 1. This card is really strong. Like, I've been testing a variety of 1-steps from ReZero, and like the best one utility wise right now is the Emilia one, since this allows you to dig for any pieces that you need. And the fact is, it helps like decompress your deck when you're in a situation where you know your climax ratio is high and you do not want to trigger your climaxes, and you just happen to have the book in your hand. So this allows you to prevent climax triggers really nicely, because it helps you thin them out and get what you need. Another card that kind of helps with that is this one. I play 4 copies of the Sensing Sensing Surreptitiously Rem, which is the 1/0 double R from set 2. What this does is when you declare an attack with this Rem, you can look up to the top 2 cards of your deck, send one of them to the waiting room, and send the other one back to the top of your deck. So this allows you to sculpt what your triggers are going to be for the next 2 attacks. So let's say you attack and you reveal the top 2 cards. One of them is a climax. You can send the climax to the waiting room and just put the card that's not the climax to the top of your deck and trigger that card. So this allows you to ensure that you're not triggering climaxes when you attack. So that's what I mainly use this for. And it's a really good beat stick at the 1-step. And then for the 2-step, I play 2 copies of the anti-early play Amelia promo. I'm glad we get this in English really easily. I know in JP you have to get you can only get this by purchasing, I think, the towel. But we get this as a monthly shop promo. So I managed to get myself 4 copies of this card. And this basically is a bottom deck anti-change backup, which is really nice. And it's a sack counter, so this allows you to avoid on reverse finishes. And then I play 1 copy of the White Whale Hunt Rem, which is a generic 1k assist to the front. And it has an ability when this 3/2 Rem gets reversed, you can pay 1 and rest the rem back, so it's an encore, and you get to draw a card. So this protects the rem if your opponent answers it when you early play it. So this allows you to constantly keep this on board. And if you do manage to get the reverse, you're just stacking up markers to make this a beefy wall. So this makes sure that the wall is possible, which is really nice. And then lastly, for my level 2, I play 1 copy of the anti-early play reverser Rem, which is a bottom deck reverser. So you mainly just use it for the bottom deck reversing. Now for the 3-step, I play 2 copies of the Light of Love Rem, which is the trial deck, level 3. I play this because this is our secondary finisher if we can't get the Ram Climax combo. This allows me to at least push for damage because it's a pay 1, mill 5, burn for each climax. So this allows you to push for damage or close the game if you have to. It actually also pairs really well with the Ram Climax combo because if you decompress your opponent's deck, when you mill off of this, you have a chance to stick the burn depending on how many climaxes are remaining in your deck. Sometimes I'll have like 2 or 3 remaining, and it just push. That easy push for damage is nice, so you can stick 6 to your opponent if you have 3 climaxes, and you actually mill them off. But the fact is, this helps me refresh the deck in a better situation because I don't want to be triggering my climaxes when I'm trying to close the game out. I also play 2 copies of the Bath Time Rem and Ram. This is also a secondary finisher, but this is a support to the finishing combo because what this does is when this comes into play, is it during the turn it comes into play? No, it's a consistent one. Okay, so what this does is when this attacks, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a Rem, Ram, or Roswell, you get to burn equal to the level of the revealed top card. So if you reveal the level 1 Rem, you burn 1. If you reveal the level 2 Rems, you burn 2. And then if you reveal the 3, you burn 3. So this allows me to bait climaxes if I manage to know that the top card of my deck is a level 3 Rem or Ram. So this allows me to this pairs really well because it helps guarantee whether the burn will go off. And you need that burn just to bait the climax in most situations. And it also has a secondary effect. When it reverses an opponent's character, you may pay 1 and kick it to the top of their deck. So this allows you to stick damage more likely. And if you do burn 1s, you basically get to put that character into clock. It's essentially a clock kick. And then the last level 3s I play is 4 copies of the early play Rem, which is a early play healer, and when it reverses a character, choose a weapon or magic character in your waiting room and put it under it as a marker. So this helps you compress, but it's not a guaranteed compression as it has to reverse. But this is our main source of healing. But the last level 3 I want to mention is 4 copies of the pink-haired maid Ram. So this is our main finisher of the deck. So what it does is when it comes into play, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and choose one of them and add it to your hand and send the rest to your waiting room. So this allows you to dig for the climax. And on climax combo, when you play it, you get to send 2 cards from your opponent's waiting room into their deck, shuffle it, so it stacks if you have multiples on board. So your opponent's going to essentially put back at max 6 non-climaxes from their waiting room back into their deck. And when it also has another ability, when this card attacks, you may pay, is it pay 2? Yeah, pay 2, discard 1, burn 1. So this is essentially, with all 3 out on the board, 6 instances of damage. But the reason why this card is so potent is the fact that it decompresses your opponent's deck selectively. So if you know your opponent's out 4 more climaxes at level 3, and they have a decent sized deck, you would just play all 3, decompress your opponent by 6 cards, and just swing in, do multiple swings, and possibly if you have enough stock, burn 1 on all 3 of them. So most likely you're going to stick to 4 instances and close the game with the rems. So this is our main way of closing our games. Overall, I like this combo over the other versions because being able to just put your opponent in an awkward situation and decompress them to such a point where the damage is sticks reminds me of Konosuba a lot, because you have the Aqua Fumio, which shuffles everything except 2 climaxes from the waiting room back into the deck. So it has a similar strategy, but instead of like relying on a Fumio, it's just an on climax decompression. So this helps secure like the win more often, and it's how most ReZero players are playing this deck. I've seen others play the Petal Geese. I've even seen one run the Beatrice finisher, but I prefer this finisher over the Beatrice one because it's a non-interactive finish, which is really nice. So I hope you guys liked the deck profile. I know I kind of rambled on a bit, but this is one of my favorite decks to play in English next to Konosuba. I often pivot between these two because of how similar they function. So the next deck profile that I'll be showing you guys is actually going to be not a Weiss Schwarz deck profile, but a Pokemon deck profile. Specifically, this one, my Reshizard deck. So I'll be showcasing my Reshizard deck, and then after that, I will be uploading another Weiss Schwarz deck profile, which will be an update on my Saikano deck, because Flat came out recently in October, and I've been messing around with the set, and I've managed to get it to where I want it to be. So I'll probably showcase that deck in the near future. But overall, hope you guys liked the videos. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.